What is up, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Braggin Rights. It's been a minute since we've done one of these, so just to recap, this is a show all about just casual games. We're not playing in any sort of tournament. It's more just, well, honestly, more pre-modern footage, more decks, more fun. You're going to see a few more wild decks, but also a few classics. So without further ado, let's get into today's game. First up, we have Peter on Red-Green Goblins. Now, this list seems pretty stock. There are a few unique choices, like a Goblin Slider in the main, which can do a lot for changing combat math. There's no Goblin Tinkerer in the main, but there is one in the side, as well as a Goblin King and a Sparksmith. Tranquil Domains are his enchantment removal of choice. He is running 3 Naturalized main, which is also pretty sweet. He does have the 4th one in the side. Overall, a very strong list, a very fast list, and it's gonna be a very interesting matchup, I think. So let's get into his opponent's list. And his opponent is, well, me. I'm playing a pretty standard white-black control list. Not much to say about it other than I really want to control the board early with removal, those 4 swords, and lots of hand disruption, the 4 duresses, 3 Gerard's Verdict. Vindicates also help with not only land destruction, but just overall good removal, and of course 3 Wrath of Gods. Endgame, I really want a big Decree of Justice, or to get an Exalted Angel or Eternal Dragon down and start, well, just beating face. Anyways, those are the decks, so without further ado, let's get into the games. And here we go. Peter is on the left, I am on the right. While we're waiting for this mulligan, I just want to do a quick shout out for Experience Point, the place we're playing at today. This is a co-op game store in Portland that is a fantastic place if you're ever in the area to check out. Thanks again, guys, for letting us record there. Peter is keeping a 7, which probably means there's at least going to be a turn 1 Goblin Lackey. Snap keeps like that from Goblin players usually mean they're going to have a pretty good threat turn 1. Let's see if I keep a turn 1 answer. I don't actually know what he's playing, so that could be a consideration. I think I see a duress. Okay, keeping. We got lands and spells. Peter will start us off with a fetch. Go grab a mountain, almost certain. Yes. Excellent choice in land art. Given the choice, I'll always default to Odyssey, Old War Foil, but these are beautiful as well. All right, and then there is the turn 1 Goblin Lackey. Makes sense why he would keep that hand. Did I keep a response? I did. Okay. Luckily, kept a response to the Lackey. Peter will go back up to 20. There's a Mog Fanatic. Take 1. And a Goblin Slider. Already flooding the board. Alright, we're going to duress here. Duress against the Goblins deck is not super great, but there is actually a hit. I did hit a Naturalize. Not super good in this matchup. There's no real reason for me to naturalize or worry about a Naturalize. So I imagine the duresses are coming out in game 2. Peter's just going to get 2 damage in here. I'm sitting at 3 mana. And Gerard's Verdict. Well, that is actually worth keeping in. Being able to disrupt your opponent. Reduce some of the amount of creatures coming down. We're going to get rid of 2 War Chiefs. Looks like it. It's not bad. Getting in for 2 more damage. Drop to 16. And pass. Now here's where I'd really like to see a Wrath of God. Granted, Peter hasn't played anything else out, so he could be hedging, just waiting to see if there's more removal coming. But there's a face-down creature. I wonder what that could be. Everyone knows an Exalted Angel. Peter is going to have an answer for it. But he is swinging in right here. I'm not going to block. The risk is a little too great. He could play another Mog Fanatic if I block the Mog Fanatic. If I block the Slider, he could either ping the Slider, Surprise, surprise, Exalted Angel coming in. Sorry, he could sacrifice the Fanatic to the Slider to make it a 2-2. Not that you'd really want to do that, but yeah. Anyways, we have a lifelinker on board. The math on this is going to start changing pretty rapidly. He does get his third War Chief and is now swinging in for a good chunk of damage, but I think I'm still going to be winning this race, especially if I can find some removal. I'm finding a lot of lands here, which the deck definitely is mana hungry. Alright, we're going to duress again. Just get a little bit of info. 2 ringleaders. Alright, we're going to terminate. Get rid of the War Chief, get rid of the mana reduction so the ringleaders may not even come down. Swing in for another 4 and gain another 4. Now, Peter is on a 3-turn clock currently. He does find another land for a ringleader. He's going to take a point though, which does drop him now down to a 2-turn clock. That is a Siege Gang and a Skirk Prospector. Those are both very relevant cards. Alright, taking 4. So right now, I am life neutral, and Peter now has to either find a way to deal with the Angel or me this turn. And that's another land, so I don't know if that's enough to do it. I'm doing 4. Drop down to 3. Ringleader. I think he's searching for a Gem Palm Incinerator, which he did find.
Really, it was like, can I Skirk Prospector, attack, Gem Palm?
And yeah, that's going to be not quite enough. So we're going to go to game number 2. And here we go with game number 2. Sideboarding has happened. I have to imagine that all my addresses have been swapped out for engineering plagues, and Peter, knowing this, is going to have kept those naturalized and maybe even put a 4th one in. It looks like he will be mulliganing this time, and I think I am keeping here. Definitely want to keep a turn 1 answer up for Goblin Lackey. That is the key to surviving the Goblin Onslaught. So I have to imagine I did that. Also going to apologize here for the shaky table. We were a little limited in our options for where to set up in the game store, so this is the best we could do. But if you haven't been to Experience Point, I highly recommend checking it out. It's a very nice shop. It is the only community owned, or employee owned I should say, game store in Portland and maybe even in Oregon. Really cool gaming co-op, and I do want to thank them again for letting us sit up here and record some games. Wow. All right, so Peter is going to 5 here. Not sure what was in his first 2 hands, but Goblin decks are usually pretty happy with a turn 1 play of any kind, followed up by a turn 2. So I have to think either it was very land light or just very threat light. And it looks like we do have a keepable one here. Putting 2 back. And Peter will start us off. And he has the dream, Goblin Lackey. Did I keep a swords up? Maybe. I didn't automatically swords it. Nope, that'll hit. Why did I not keep a swords up? All right, well, there's a War Chief, which makes it cheaper to play both of those. Okay, so we now just have a giant board, and this is going to get painful really quick. Peter going to move to combat. Swing in with everything. Yep, I still don't have an answer. This was not a good keep for me. I'm not sure what I was doing. Taking a boatload of damage.
I will opt to not do anything off the Goblin Lackey trigger. Okay, go.
And say go. And am I dead just this turn?
Alright, I will. No, I will.
I have a terminate. That's not going to do much. but I guess it's something. Say go. Did I keep a Wrath of God hand? Wrath of God's way too slow for goblins without some earlier interaction. Not sure what was going on in my brain here. Alright, but we are going to get a ringleader here, which we'll find another ringleader. Say go.
I survived
And here's where we find out if I had a Wrath. I'm going to take a point here. I believe so. Yes. Wrath of God. Ping me for 1. I go to 2. I think I just lose to the...
I mean, I tried my darndest. Wooden Foothills.
Well, can't play it quite yet. Alright. I get 1 more turn. Very risky to keep it. Is actually a double Wrath hand that I have? It might be. Pain 2. There's a Circle of Protection red. That's pretty solid. Say go. Unless that hidden card is a Naturalize. Similar, Tranquil Domain. Okay, so he did bring those in from the side. Alright. Circle Protection red is gone. I must have kept a hand with the COP red. I think that's the only thing. And yep, we're just going to be swinging in for 2, and I am dead. On to game 3. Here we are in game number 3. Peter taking that second one down with a very blazing start, even after a mull to 5. If that doesn't show how strong the Almond deck is, I don't know what will. Okay, I am starting off. Tap land, go. Goblin Lackey, all 3 games. It's got to be nice when you have it, and he does. Like, thankfully, I was smart enough to keep a Swords hand, so I have the interaction for it. Okay, but do you have another one? All right, Goblin Lackey number 2. What can I do about that? I can Vindicate it, which is not a great way to deal with it, but it is an answer. Hopefully I'll remember to take that off the board. Yep, Peter's pointing to it. Like, by the way, that's not a creature. So we're in for 1 with the Prospector. All right, Pile Driver down. That is a pretty nice threat. Do I have... I do have a Swords to respond to it. We're going to Plane Cycle here, though. Build up our mana a little bit. Go grab a Plains. Probably just playing it for turn. And I think I just Swords here. I can't think of any other threat that's greater than a Pile Driver. There's definitely something to be said for holding it up until your opponent's turn, but let's just deal with it now. Yep. I like to play my instants at sorcery speed sometimes. That is not correct. Alright, we're going in for 1 with Prospector. And there's another Pile Driver. I'm now at 4 mana. Did I keep a hand with Wrath of God? This would be a board, I think, worth wrathing. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. Of course, Peter, knowing that, I do run Wrath. Would probably be holding back a little bit. Can't hold back too much. The white-black control deck definitely wins the late game. Okay, grab another Plains. A little bit of glare here. There was a big bunch of bay windows to our back. I try my best to reduce the glare, but evidently that one spot on the table, a little hard to see. But those are all Plains over there. I generally try to keep my mana stacked and try not to drop cards when I'm shuffling. Again, I really like these sleeves. I've had them for multiple tournaments now, and the shuffle feel is the best I've seen. Not promoted, not sponsored. But the Apex sleeves are ridiculous. All right, we have a COP red. And if Peter grabs a green source here, we know it's not sticking around very long.
We all know how this works.
Yep. There's Naturalize. One day, that'll actually stick around. The reason why I think the green version of Goblins is the best is it really just takes care of its only problem cards, which are enchantments like COP or E-Plague. And Interplague is obviously the more popular one. At least maybe to me, because I mostly just play decks with black, but, you know. It's a good card against Goblins, a good card against Elves. Those are the main two tribals you need to worry about. Or typals, excuse me. Kindred? One of those. I forget the new nomenclature. Alright. Well, we're going to be taking a bit of damage here, I think, unless I was holding out on a swords. There's a War Chief, and swinging in with everything. How much damage am I taking? A lot. Down to 10. Now would be an excellent time to Wrath. There we go. There's a Wrath of God. Okay. Perfect. Opponent has one card in hand. And they're all going to the grave. And then say go. Missing my land drop here, which could be relevant. Alright, we are getting something ported. A black source. Okay. I think I do have an Engineered Plague in hand. I also have a Decree of Justice, I believe. Both good cards. Opting to Skeletal Scry here, actually. Taking a bit of risk. Okay, so maybe I don't have as many good cards as I thought. Skeletal Scry against the Goblin deck when you are not in control and not at a high life total. It's very risky. I'm just doing it for 2. Did I miss my land drop still? No. Okay, we did find one. Say go. And Peter, not finding a threat, is going to port one of my black sources again. We're getting a little bit lucky, having a little bit of breathing room here. That Wrath definitely giving us the time to rebuild our board, build up some mana. I have to imagine I'm decreeing on end step to get 3 1/1s. Yes, okay. Let's decree, get a few soldiers. Remember to draw a card. No, there we go. And untap. Alright, now we got some blockers. We could get a little aggressive here. I mean, I am at 8, so might be a little much. Peter has 2 cards in hand. Did not play a land last turn. There's a possibility of just lots of enchantment removal. Oh, there's a Mog Fanatic. Did I draw another decree?
Yes. In response to the Exalted.
No, alright. We're just passing back to my turn, porting a black source. And then I'm going to actually use that mana plus 4 more to bring back my Eternal Dragon to hand. Draw for turn. Cloud of Caves of Koilos. And what are we doing? Terminate. Or not terminate. Vindicate. Vindicate the port. When I'm spending a Vindicate to blow up a land, that probably means I'm feeling pretty comfortable with this match. Alright, Gem Palm Incinerator, one of the tokens. Not ideal for Peter, obviously. He does get to cycle. He is flooding quite badly here, which is unfortunate. 2 for a Gerard's Verdict. Is that 2 more lands? It is. No, it's a land in Tranquility, or one of the enchantment removals. That's good to see. I think now, yes, okay. An Eternal Dragon hits the field. We are hard casting at this time and swinging in for 2. Say go. That dragon is going to be very difficult for Peter to interact with, and is enough of a clock on its own that I think I should probably just hold the soldiers back to block. There's a Dust Bowl. Now, Peter does have way too many lands for me to actually start using that effectively, I think, but is an option for more problem lands. And yeah, we're just going to go to combat, swing for 5. And feeling comfortable enough to Skeletal Scry here. How much am I paying? 3. So 3 life. Exile 3 cards. Draw 3. Again, this is a spell you can do at instant speed, but I have enough mana open that there is definitely some benefit to doing it now. I could hard cast an Exalted Angel from this position, which I think might be what I'm hoping to find. Instead, I am putting it face down. That's an interesting choice. Especially if it gets gem palmed. Nope, he's just gem palming to deal 1 damage to it and is, yeah, gonna sack it. Okay. Yeah, I probably should have just hard cast that. Feel free to roast me in the comments. It is not gonna matter too much though, because right now it looks like, yes, there's an E-Plague on Goblins, just another nail in the coffin. And a swing out for 5, or for 7. Peter's down to 7. Oh, and that is another land, and that is going to be game. I take it down in 3. All right, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Peter for being such a good opponent. That game 2 was insane, and both games were pretty close until, well, obviously flooding out is never fun. Also want to do one last shout out to Experience Point Co-op Game Store in Portland, Oregon. Highly recommend if you're in the area to check them out. Thanks again, guys, for letting us record games there. Thanks to all of you for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to help the channel even more, there's a Patreon link in the video description that goes towards gear upgrades, travel expenses, and just helps make more videos. Thanks again, and I'll catch you next time.